All right. Well, good evening to all of you. Owen Fritzen here with you on a Tuesday afternoon, and we are joined here by meteorologist Mike Joyce, forecaster Brant Warren, and myself. Just want to lay out a couple of ground rules before we get started here. There's a lot of active weather, so our tolerance for questions and comments and things are going to be fairly limited. We can't answer your town, your town, your town. We cover 124 counties, and the weather in southern Ohio is not over. It's not a bust, and we're going to get into that right now. For portions of our coverage area, we are having a tornado warning right now in our southernmost portion of our coverage area, and we're going to zoom into that right now, and we're trying to get a good look at it. But let's start off here. Meteorologist Mike Joyce, good evening to you. And we got a storm cell that's produced a tornado, and it has been confirmed here, and it's approaching our coverage area in Ripley County. So we'll start with you, Mike.
Yeah, this is as Owen said, this is a very concerning situation, and we've been building up to it throughout the day, and here we are. It's go time. This is a confirmed tornado situation just along and south of US 50, and that's north of the Ohio River in Indiana. So this is going to be approaching the western fringe of the Cincinnati metro area here very soon. And while counties, excuse me here, let me get another view here. And yes, we do have a tornado warning now into Dearborn County and Ohio County there in far southeastern Indiana. So that is actually for the cell that's back towards DuPont and just to the east of US 421 there, south of Versailles, Indiana. So if you're in Versailles, technically not in the warning, but you are close enough that if you know anybody just south of town, they should definitely be in their safe spot. And if you are in Lawrenceburg or just outside the 275 loop in the Cincinnati metro area, you really should be watching out for this. Again, not in the current warning, but so close that, if this storm were to hold together, this would be something very concerning for you as well. So we're going to be watching this very closely as we march our way through the evening. And it's not the only storm we're concerned about. We do have a couple other areas where storms have popped up, most of which in Indiana, but that does pose a threat for Southwest Ohio over the next a couple of hours or so. I know a lot of folks in Cincinnati and maybe even the Dayton region between now and the next couple of hours are really going to have to watch. We've added a lot of instability into the atmosphere really in just the last hour to an hour and a half. Things have really ramped up. Many communities under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. So that's going to include as far north as Darke and Miami County in Ohio, all the way over to Franklin County, including Columbus, Ohio, all the way down to Portsmouth, Ohio, and back toward Indiana as well. I do believe the threat in Indiana will diminish within the next hour to an hour and a half, but then Ohio, you'll be under the gun as well. So, that's kind of my summary right now. If you're in the Cincinnati metro area, you're watching this very closely, you're getting a plan ready. It's not necessarily time to act immediately, but it will be within the hour.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an entire team coverage here today. We got a lot of us looking at it. We have storm chasers in the field. I know Zach Batten is around. I know Tyler is also around there. So Tyler's out there. Tyler Phillips is out there as well doing some storm chasing. We have obviously Mike Joyce here with us. We have Brant Warren with us. Ken McNatt's in the comments. Meteorologist Adriana Michaels is also with us here as well. She's keeping us in the loop on the things behind the scenes. So we're definitely got a lot going on. Let's focus in real quick, and we'll jump over to Brant for some safety tips. And also, Brant's keeping an eye on some of these northern storms that are starting to fire up right near the I-70 area. So we'll get to him in just a minute. But let's get to the tornado warning, and let's just kind of show you what's going on here right now. So we have a tornado warning that encompasses portions of our coverage area for Ripley County down here in Dearborn County. So these two areas here, we just got to keep a very close eye on it because it's a confirmed tornado for portions of Ripley and Dearborn County. And this tornado warning, as I'll bring it up on the screen, goes until 6 p.m. So we got another 35 minutes on this storm. And kind of what we're looking at is it prompted back here, and I'll flip over it and we'll see if we can get a good shot at this with storm relative velocity. You can kind of see as we zoom in here where this general broad rotation is at. We'll put the track on it for you as well. Right now, if you're in DuPont, they're saying, hey, it's right over top of you. You need to be in your tornado-safe shelter. Dillsboro 550, Aurora 6 o'clock if it holds together, if it gets that far. But right now, I could say that the instability is there, Mike, and we're ready to roll, and we're getting primed and ready. So this is far from over, as you were saying, especially in the Lawrenceburg area, Hollywood Casino, that area, even down towards some of the areas down in Kentucky, like Belterra and some other casinos down there. Not that I know anything about casinos, but if you're down in that area, you need to, not let your guard down. And general throughout the state here today, we'll talk about it in just a minute, but I do want to reconfirm, and then I'm going to jump over to Brant, is that this tornado warning here for portions of Ripley County and Dearborn County in our coverage area is a confirmed tornado on the ground. They just issued a third tornado warning on top of this, guys. It just came out right over top of the two polygons to cover just south of that Jefferson County, which is not in our coverage area, but that just tells you the seriousness of this warning. And we're going to flip over to Brant, and Brant, make sure that, help me out here with the safety tips. And if people are in this storm, they need to make sure that they get to the lowest level of their house, etc. Help me out with some of those safety tips. And I'm going to continue on looking at some radar data here for just a second.
Yeah, and so that's one of the things that we focus on is safety, and that's why we do what we do here at the Belpark Weather Network. So we want to go ahead and go over some tornado safety plans. And we're going to sound like a broken record today saying this 100 times, but people join the stream, people leave. Different people are affected at different times. So I know we're going to sound like a broken record, but if you are in a home, you need to go to the lowest floor. You need to get to the most center room of your house. That could be a bathroom, that could be under a stairwell, that could be a bedroom. Whatever room is in the center of your house on the lowest floor, and get farthest away from windows as you can. We have seen countless times people be injured by flying debris that break glass, and the glass goes flying and the debris comes flying in, and we don't want that to happen. So stay away from windows, get as far away from windows as you can. When you go into your safe place, if you have children, or if you have any spare anybody that's in that room, if you can grab a helmet, if you can grab a mattress, if you can grab anything to cover yourself with, just in case flying debris would breach the room that you're in. If you are in a car, you're going to want to pull over at the nearest sturdy shelter. That's not mobile homes. Get inside if you can. Do never stay under underpasses during a tornado warning. I just had a coworker the other day tell me that he was going to go under an overpass if he was driving during a tornado, and I had to tell him. I said that is very dangerous because those become wind tunnels. The wind gets sucked right on. It's just a wind tunnel when that happens. So that is not where you want to be. If you're in a mobile home, you need to leave. You need to go to the nearest site-built home, sturdy home that you can as quickly as possible. A basement is the best option in all these scenarios if you have one, but if not, near the center of your home. Cover yourself with a mattress. Get the helmet on the kids. Whatever you can do to cover yourself and protect yourself from the dangers of the tornado.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to turn our attention here to one thing, just so you know, Mike. I switched over to the terminal Doppler out of Cincinnati and got a pretty good look at this. And we have some rotation definitely with this. And we also have something on correlation coefficient, which I'll get to in just a minute. But Mike, we're seeing a very clear picture of this. It's confirmed on the ground. And like I said, they just issued that other tornado warning just south of our coverage area. But you can see, as I flip over here just just a velocity, you can see the type of power that this is packing with this storm cell. It's just enormous.
Absolutely. And the part of this region is very well covered by radar. The terminal Doppler radar out of CVG over there in Boone County, Kentucky, which is maybe 30 miles from where the storm is right now. That's what you're looking at, and we're gonna get even better coverage of this as it moves off to the from what I can tell by its current storm motion, kind of an east-northeast trajectory toward the Cincinnati area. And this is a confirmed tornado situation. We see it in many ways on radar. Not only that, there are several trained storm spotters that have confirmed it with their own eyes as well. So there's so many ways to confirm this. US 421 just south of Versailles, Indiana, north of Madison, Indiana. Those are going to be places. State Route 250 there. And I do want to mention, this is very close to the Ohio River corridor. One of the biggest myths in the meteorology community that we hear is that either hills, cuts in the hill, valleys, or even rivers are some sort of barrier or protecting a geographical mechanism for tornadoes. That's not the case. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a tornado cross the Ohio River 3 times. Back 50 years ago tomorrow, April 3rd, 1974, an F5 tornado crossed the Ohio River into the Sailor Park neighborhood of Cincinnati. So don't let any of that give you a false sense of security, especially when we're entering these very hilly regions and these river valleys, especially a large river like the Ohio River. This is also not a situation to attempt to storm spot or chase on your own if you're not aware of what you're doing. And the reason I say that, especially in this area, because this area has poor visibility, it's very hilly, and there are no bridges over the Ohio River, with the closest one being 275 near Lawrenceburg, and of course that's an interstate highway. So,
look at this, Mike. I mean, we're almost maxed out here a little bit. This is this is for terminal Doppler. This is pretty impressive. I mean, if you look at the velocity section here, this is pretty impressive. So this is important to make sure to take this seriously. And kind of with that, Mike, is this is kind of a precursor to the things we thought were going to happen today in Ohio, and it's not over yet. We're getting ready to, the atmosphere is primed, especially in the southern portion of Ohio, in the Miami Valley. It's primed and ready to go, and we're keeping a track of some other storms as well. But this is something to make sure that everybody's taken seriously. You can see here as we zoom in on the radar and the terminal, you can kind of see right where this inflow notch is very clearly, and it's something to definitely take seriously here at this point. And like we've been saying, is we expect to be here for the long haul, and I appreciate my colleagues joining me tonight, because Mike's been in meteorology for a long time and on TV, and that's tough to talk all night, but we'll do it as we need to, because our commitment is to keep you safe. So this tornado is right on the fringe of our coverage area. So again, if you're in our coverage area in Ripley or Dearborn counties, that is for you. You need to be in your tornado safe shelter at this point. And heads up to all of you over in like Mike was saying, Lawrenceburg and Rising Sun, all those areas moving towards the Ohio River, definitely need to be on the lookout. Even if you're downstream of this, I'll zoom out. Even if you're downstream of this, these storms are starting to fire, and any one of these storms, basically throughout the region, could potentially bring a risk of tornadoes. We do have a tornado watch that's in effect, and I'll bring that up here on the screen. That's till 10 o'clock. So anywhere in that yellowish color right there that you're seeing in your screen, you're under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. So make sure that you keep that in mind as well. But we're looking at some storms firing up across this line, even up near I-70. I know Brand's keeping an eye on those for us near Richmond. We are looking at those as well. We're going to stay focused in on our tornado warning at this point, and especially because it is a confirmed tornado, and it's in right across over 421 there in Indiana. So, again, make sure getting in that tornado-safe shelter. One other thing I can show you here is, and it's died down a little bit, but if we take it back a few scans, give me 1 second here. I wanted to show you as it become confirmed here. Let me see if I can get it into loop. We were seeing and still seeing, as it's looping in, there's some things on correlation coefficient, such as debris that is being lofted up in there. So it's something to take seriously as well, because it's definitely confirmed. I believe they were saying they had some spotters. I don't know if Reed was on that one or not, but definitely confirmed. Several reports of a tornado that has been officially confirmed on the ground. So we got to take that seriously. And Brant, I'm not sure if you're seeing anything on the backside or any other comments or pictures or thing of this, but I know that just a few minutes ago we seen some pictures of some funnel clouds down in this area, now confirmed tornado.
Yes, and the only other tornado warning in the region is actually it just got issued northeast of Louisville, Kentucky, and that storm is awful looking. But that is outside of our coverage area. We do have the one warning inside our coverage area. We've been saying all day, we've been waiting for it to happen. I saw a lot of comments earlier, saying that it was a bust, it wasn't going to happen. And sometimes it just takes time to get things going. And as these storms move into these areas that have been destabilized, and the ingredients that we have in the atmosphere today, I mean, there are some limiting factors, and we have to see how those are going to play into how, when these storms move into those areas. We're talking about that behind the scenes here, but as of now, I mean, they're not slowing down. This is a confirmed tornado, as you said, Owen. And Mike, and it seems this whole line has been severe for quite a while, and it doesn't look like anything is going to impede this particular storm anytime soon. But we got storms out ahead of this. We got some showers and maybe some pea-sized hail in some of these. We're watching those pretty closely. They're more supercellular in nature, more waiting to see if this is the part of the atmosphere that we've been questioning all day. How do the storms interact with it when it gets here? So we'll have to watch very closely over the next couple hours as these storms continue to move into the western Ohio and southwestern Ohio. Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just keeping an eye on some things here. I'm looking at the backside of something called normalized rotation, and it's definitely showing, and it's riding right along here as I zoom in on the product. It's riding right along pretty much where these these tracking arrows are, and I got these turned on in case I want to click on them for tracking purposes quickly. But right along this boundary, right in here, is where that general tornado is going to be. I can illustrate that for you too on the screen. This is obviously right where the mesocyclone signature is as well. But this is showing some very, very strong normalized rotation. I can't 100% say that it's still on the ground. I'm not seeing what we were seeing on correlation coefficient, but this is something we continue to monitor. And let's see here, 1 second, if I can flip this over. Kind of looking, I flipped over on the other screen that you can see now on your screen of what I'm talking about. So something called correlation coefficient is to the bottom left box. The right box is normalized rotation. So this is another screen that I am looking at in the backside. Kind of gives us a little bit of an indication of where things are at as well. It helps us, kind of gives us that full picture view, if you will. But that's something that we're also looking at too. And Mike, I could tell you that regardless of this, there's still enough inflow that this could regenerate or cycle here as this continues to move northeast.
Yeah, and speaking of northeast, I'm also watching the cell directly to this one's northeast, which is near and just northwest of the Lawrenceburg area. So this will be entering Ohio very shortly. This is in northern Dearborn County. It is showing, that storm is showing a little bit of broad rotation that I can see on the Cincinnati Terminal Doppler weather radar. So while I'm not as concerned about that one at the moment as we are about the one we've been focusing on, that one will bear watching over the next several minutes or so to see if that ends up tightening up a little bit and warranting some more concerns. So the storm we've been focusing on that is now on and crossing to the east of US 421 in southeastern Indiana, that one will likely continue its strength. The storm may at times appear to what we call cycle, meaning that the tornado or rotation may weaken a little bit but then strengthen, especially because it appears to have relatively unobstructed access to moisture. So what I mean by that is usually the southernmost storm in a cluster of storms often has access to the most moisture and often is the strongest. We saw this a couple weeks ago with that supercell in northern Kentucky on March 14th, Pi Day. And this supercell itself could potentially very well be impacting the same area. So if that is you, northern Kentucky, and certainly right now heading into Dearborn and Ohio County, Indiana, you are next. And by next, I mean it's almost there. Again, what Owen is showing you there is the wind velocity, and it is mighty and powerful there. We're seeing the intense wind right along US 421, and the fact that you see those reds and really a blue indicating a very strong rotation there. We call this in weather terms gate to gate shear, meaning the red is indicating wind blowing one direction and the green and blues indicated blowing in another direction. And when they're blowing in opposite directions that close to each other, you have whatever that wind speed opposing basically adds together, and that can tell you how fast the winds are. So it's a serious situation. Again, a confirmed tornado with this storm, and this area is visibility is not good. There's a lot of trees. We have the Ohio River coming up, and I really, really hope that everybody in Dearborn and Ohio County and points all the way back toward US 421 are in their safe spots and not outside trying to find this, because it is going to be so hard to even see it, and it may even be wrapped in rain, which I honestly want to say is going to be kind of a likely scenario. So, okay, here we go. We just have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for that storm up to the north that I was just mentioning. Let me see if I can't get any details on that one.
Yeah, and I believe, Mike, you're talking about this one right up here, just north of Aurora. Is that correct? That's the one you're talking about.
Yes, correct. Yeah,
and definitely you can see. I don't even have to zoom in on this. You can definitely see.
That's also tagged tornado possible.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised on that. You can see it very clearly from the scan that I'm showing you right now, you can see this one down here that we have the tornado warning on, but this one is starting to look very impressive just outside of Lawrenceburg, and I don't even have to zoom in on that one. You could see that one clear as day on velocity. So that's right there, stuck between 350 there in Indiana and 148, just coming over towards the Lawrenceburg area. So you need to make sure that you're treating this one as well like a tornado warning. And I say that because of the fact that we are, there we go. We are scan behind. We are seeing this with a tornado possible tag, so that's important that we treat that as well and be ready to take shelter, because that one's something that's getting a little eerie. I'll say it that way. And I know that the latest mesoscale discussion came out, and Bran, I don't know if you had a chance to read that yet. I haven't got a chance to read it, but we are.
I am reading it right now.
All right, we are definitely watching that, and also we're looking. Bran is working at Butler County for us as well, Brant. And what do you got going on that way? Just kind of looking down there.
So it's going to be just northwest of Mason. Mason is well known for Kings Island, so that area is well known to a lot of people. South of Monroe, on the Butler County, Warren County line, we're starting to see something forming there. Over the past couple scans, it's slowly started ticking up here. So we're watching that place closely, and this is going to be the story, I think, for a lot of the day. We're going to be kind of bouncing around between circulations all across the region here. So gotta kind of bear with us as we try to manage all the activity that's expected to happen today, Owen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think this is a continuing indicative of what we were saying. You know, you trying to target the exact area. The Storm Prediction Center has been very close and kept that moderate risk in place, and they still do expect, as this taps into some of this instability, as this out ahead of this thing, you know, Mike, and we look at some of the parameters for tornadoes today. I woke up, it was 64 degrees, so that's not something we normally see in Ohio.
No, not at all. And one of the primary concerns we had even into this afternoon, and why some folks may have assumed that this could be a bust scenario, is that really this energy that we had hasn't been around for more than that hour and a half, 2 hour window now. When I was leaving my job at school here about 2 hours ago, I mean, it still didn't look all that impressive. We were still very concerned with some signals off to our west, but here it is. And on these days, especially in early April, we're entering the middle of spring now, where it's not the hottest day, but we have so much wind energy in the atmosphere, and all it takes is just a little bit of moisture, and we have it. And you know, I'm sitting here in Columbus and watching the sun come out here. So if you're, I know we've had a lot of comments in Central Ohio, Dayton area, and even points northeast. If you're in that tornado watch, you still need to be very mindful of your plan for this evening. Right now, the immediate threat is in southeastern Indiana and the Cincinnati metro area, with that tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning for Dearborn, Hamilton, and Butler County. But like we were just talking about, there is even some weak rotation showing up right on the Butler and Warren County line between Monroe and Mason. I'm very familiar with that area. Traders World's there. I used to live there for 5 years. It's a heavily populated area, very well traveled with I-75 and I-71, and a lot of this area really is. There's a lot of folks that live around here, and you know, it's still 5:46. We're still in the middle of rush hour. A lot of evening activities out there. So if your evening activities were not canceled, and you're outside, just please be careful. If the tornado sirens are going off, find a shelter immediately. A substantial shelter, that is, something anchored to the ground, something with, you know, a building with no windows is your best bet, or with a basement even better. But this is the type of situation. These are going to be very fast moving, fast firing storms. And Owen, I do believe that threat is going to carry with us at least for the next couple of hours, maybe even longer than that, for our west, central, and central Ohio areas.
Yeah, Mike, and I could tell you one of the things that we're looking at here, and we're chatting behind the scenes too, is you picked up on that quite a bit early on some of the reflectivity, and I'll flip over to storm relative velocity because I just think it's a little bit easier to see. So when we're looking at this, you can kind of see in this area that Mike was talking about earlier with the severe thunderstorm warning that was tagged tornado possible. We're continuing to see that, and I don't know why it just dropped off the screen, but. I'm assuming there's still a warning there for severe thunderstorm warning, but for some reason it just fell off my screen. But we're looking at some rotation right in this general area right here. You can kind of see that gate to gate shear right in this area, just on the outside of Lawrenceburg. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So we're looking at that, and we also have our live tornado warning down here. It was confirmed, so we do want to treat that one like it is seriously, because that's something that we don't see very often is these confirmed type tornadoes. Right now, it looks kind of like, Mike, in my opinion, it's kind of cycling just a little bit. We're starting to get some indications back in correlation coefficient on that storm. So we have to watch this one very closely as it continues to push off to the north and east. So Lawrenceburg's kind of seeing a 1-2 punch in that area. And I'll just quickly put a track on this and kind of the impacts there. Rising Sun, if you were in that area, actually there's a casino called Rising Star there, 612, 623 for Burlington and 624 for Union. And so we're kind of watching this one closely here, as well as this other area just coming into Cincinnati, Mike. And it kind of looks like to me on this tornado warning here for Ripley, Dearborn counties that it's cycling, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and I actually do want to draw your attention to Warren County, that area of circulation that you guys brought up. If you can, is there a way you can loop the Cincinnati terminal velocity?
Yeah.
It does appear that we may have had a little spin up there, at least with one scan. Again, right along State Route 73 to the east of I-75, so in between Lebanon and Monroe. I did see something a little concerning there for at least a scan, so we're really going to have to watch that one really close.
So I believe, you want velocity or SRV? Just velocity?
I've got it on just regular velocity.
Okay. There it is. So that's what Mike's talking about. We got it playing right now on your screen. You kind of see that arrow that's kind of traipsing along with it. It pops up, Mike, and we can even take it scan by scan. That's kind of right where Mike was talking about. If we come back here just a little bit, you're kind of to see where Mike's talking about. This is that area where a brief spin up is possible. And as it's continuing to push off right there, I believe, Mike, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, not only that, but at the same time, if up in Butler and Warren County.
Oh, I'm in the wrong county. Sorry.
Well, no, I'm glad you did that because I saw that as well. But yeah, if you look right there on the 75 Butler Warren County line, if you're able to do that one as well, there's one scan where it tightened up to something concerning, and again, it kind of lost its steam. But the fact that it did that concerns me that it might cycle again, and that would be heading for places like Lebanon, maybe the south side of Springboro.
Try 545. The scan at 545.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that might.
At 545. Okay, sorry. 545 is right there. I'm not sure if we're.
Yeah, that's it, right there.
That what we're speaking of there?
Yeah.
Not 100% on that. Let's flip over here real quick. I can kind of show you a better shot in SRV, but
yeah, that might help.
Are you looking from Wilmington?
Yeah, this is terminal Doppler. So.
Okay. Well, either way, I think it does bear watching, and even like you were doing back in. Right. I mean, even right now, back in central Dearborn County, they're about to cross into Ohio. That in that scan right now, that's not looking great either from a safety perspective. And we have some pretty intense reflectivity returns as well, indicating that there could be, maybe some sort of circulation developing, and certainly some very heavy rain, maybe even a little bit of hail too.
Right. If there's a good thing, guys, so the one for Dearborn and Ripley counties, that tornado warning has now gone to just radar indicated. They have removed the observed tag for that one. So it is now just radar indicated, which is a good sign for that area. And we'll take it because it did look like it was trying to cycle back up, and it still does. So you want to respect the polygon. It's right over near the town of Pleasant at the moment. So if you're right in that area, you need to be seeking shelter, get to the lowest level of your house, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, cover your neck and head. That's important. And you kind of see that inflow notch there, Mike, just a little bit as it's moving northeast. So towns like Dillsboro, right on the edge of this, need to be concerned as well, and make sure Dillsboro, you are in the warning, and towns just outside of this too. You need to make sure that you are seeking shelter and respecting the polygon, because it's coming towards you. So even if you're really close to that as well, Mike, I know it's just something that continues to be cyclic as we talk about, but we're going to keep a very, very close eye on this one. And I don't see anything else on correlation coefficient, but we are watching that storm cell for portions of the Butler County areas you guys were mentioning earlier. I got it on another screen looking at that, but that whole storm cell itself, it's very rapidly could change and form a tornado today, especially with the dynamic environments, Mike.
Absolutely, and that's kind of the key is rapid change. We have an atmosphere that has undergone rapid change in the last couple of hours. If you were to look at our situation 2 hours ago, especially after those showers and even those thunderstorms we had earlier this morning, it did probably give many folks a false sense of security that maybe things weren't going to pan out into the severe weather mode that we're in. And I understand that may be the case for some regions along maybe I-70, but we're still watching some storms in that corridor stretching all the way from about Richmond, Indiana to over to Columbus. I did just get a bit of news out of Columbus, storm related. If anyone is going to be attending the Columbus Crew match tonight, that has been postponed until 8:30. Some news on that, which I think is the right call with the dangerous weather in the region. That said, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect now for Dearborn, Claremont, and Hamilton counties. So there is back to back. And then at the same time, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Wayne, Dark, and Miami, along with Preble and Shelby. So pretty much the Miami Valley, Mike, is getting lit up with severe thunderstorm warnings, which all of these, again, can be tornadic. It's just really one scan away, and it's very quickly that it can happen. So, and that's the type of thing here today, Mike. Some of these storms could be long-lived, but in some of these cases, with some of these lines coming through, the atmosphere is so primed and juicy that it could be becoming tornadic very quickly, and that's something that we want to keep our eye out as well. And we're starting to get some storm reports out of there, some hail reports. It looks like. We got 1 inch hail coming out of that storm up there. So with that newest severe thunderstorm warning that they had issued. So, yeah, we're seeing that as well.
Yeah. And that is a threat today. Unlike some of the storms that we had a couple of weeks ago, these storms have more energy. Like you said, juicy. So the more energy you have, the more energy that ends up into the higher parts of the atmosphere. That's where that hail threat increases. The upper atmosphere is very, very cold compared to the surface, and that's where that hail develops. And once it keeps cycling and growing in that cold part of the atmosphere, it gets too heavy, falls to the surface. That's how we can get ice falling from the sky when it's 70 degrees out, or sometimes in the summer in the 80s ahead of these strong thunderstorms. And that is an indication of the strength of a thunderstorm too. And we certainly have that going on. And it definitely makes sense that the National Weather Service has went ahead with a severe thunderstorm warning, because it does seem like that's going to be a threat, along with some damaging wind. So, yes, many of us now under severe thunderstorm warnings, including portions of the Miami Valley, Dark, even far southwestern Shelby, most of Miami, and even northern Preble County as well. This one has even seen some, maybe some signs of trying to do some spinning as well. So we'll be watching that one very closely as well. So let me take a look. That's latest here on CVG. Okay, you know what, Owen? Looking back to that southern storm that has the history of tornado possible, it appears to me that it might not be, producing a tornado at the moment, but it still has a heck of a lot of wind with it. I wonder if we'll see more of a wind threat developing with it, or if we'll see that rotation tightening back up here, especially since we approach the Ohio River and then get closer to the Cincinnati terminal radar.
Yeah, out ahead of this, they issued the severe thunderstorm warning for the one at Dearborn and Ripley. That warning, the tornado warning, only has about 2 minutes to go. So good indication they're not going to reissue that one. But let's talk about the northern one too. We're kind of missing out here on the latest one that's up by Richmond and Brant. I'll let you come in here, and I know you've been keeping your eye on a couple areas for us, and I'll let you come in here and take a swing at what we're seeing there on your storms that you're watching.
Yeah, so actually all 3 of the severe thunderstorm warnings we have now are tagged tornado possible. So that just shows you the environment we're working with how quickly things could change and a tornado could drop very, very.
Oop, Brant cut out there.
We're looking in the past, whether it be
is.
a minute, 2 minutes, about 4 minutes, in the past. So when we look at radar scans, we're looking in the past. So tornadoes can drop between radar scans or before the National Weather Service can see them, because they're looking, they have more resources. But when it comes to radar, they're looking at the same things we're looking at. And sometimes, a tornado could drop before they're able to issue a formal tornado warning. So all the severe thunderstorm, all 3 of them in our coverage area right now are tagged tornado possible. So we've got to pay very close attention to these. Each scan that comes in today is vitally important on all these storms, Owen.
Oh, absolutely. I was looking at some things that Ken was saying too, but yeah, you're 100% right. I'm cleaning up the radar just a little bit so we can get some of the, I don't want to say junk, but get some of the stuff off the radar there that we can see. And we're trying to get the live and local look here. We got this northern storm. Let's do a quick rundown here of what we got going on. As Brant has mentioned, that all of these warnings have been tagged tornado possible. So let's go ahead and run this down here for you. Let's start with our northernmost severe thunderstorm warning. So this one here, goes for northeastern Wayne County, southwestern Shelby, northern Preble, southern Dark, and Miami County until 6:45. And this one they got moving at about 60 mile an hour and quarter-size hail. And again, with this one, you need to make sure, especially if you're on I-70 and 75, you need to remain alert. The possibility of a tornado is possible, because they did tag this again, tornado possible. Let's move on down the line here towards Cincinnati. Let's look at this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, tag tornado possible once again. So you need to make sure that you take this seriously as well. This is for northern Hamilton and southern Butler County. This severe thunderstorm warning goes until 6:30. And again, moving at about 50 miles an hour or so. And there's some hail tied in with that storm as well. Not as large as some of these other storms, but there is some hail. And let's look down here at the second severe thunderstorm warning in the Cincinnati area for portions of our friends that are over in Ohio County, southern Dearborn County. And they actually just updated that one. Northeastern, that was in Indiana, Switzerland. We don't cover Kenton County, Campbell County, southern Hamilton County, and West Claremont County as well. They just issued a special weather statement on that one. But that large polygon that you see there, that also is tagged tornado possible. The good thing, guys, is as we just said that the tornado warning was allowed to expire, so there is no active tornado warnings at this time. So we're kind of on that wait and see pattern with all of the 3 severe thunderstorm warnings that we have in our coverage area right now tagged tornado possible, Mike. And I know that southernmost storm, and looking at it as well, that one still, to me, it looks like it's trying to cycle once again. I keep looking at normalized rotation on that one as it's moving just over, kind of getting ready to cross over the border here into Kentucky and then over into Hamilton. That's one that we're continuing to look at as well, very, very closely. But like you said, any one of these can turn tornadic very quickly, Mike.
Absolutely. I would totally agree with that statement, seeming to strengthen a little bit as well. And again, this is for those of you who have joined us since I last talked about it. This is an important situation to understand that we don't really have any geographical barriers that keep people safe from tornadoes. I know there's sometimes some old wives' tales and some beliefs that, oh, a river or a hill or some sort of cut in the hill protects a region from storms. Well, um, really, it's just statistics. These storms will not be stopped by the Ohio River. So many times have powerful tornadoes crossed the Ohio River in this region of the country. The city doesn't stop a tornado. Cincinnati is well known for severe weather, especially 50 years ago tomorrow, on April 3rd, 1974, a powerful F5 tornado crossed the Ohio River. So um, this is a situation to be very careful with. That said, that storm, if it is to tighten back up again, which Owen said it is showing some signs of strengthening once again, as it approaches the Ohio River, including rising sun, I would be very mindful if you're in that area. So we're talking rising sun, just south of Aurora, Indiana, even Lawrenceburg. You should be in a safe spot just in case this storm does impact.
Is that your weather radio or?
Yeah, it's my weather
All
radio.
right. Yeah, the
we're
new
gonna-
warning
Severe
just came
thunderstorm
out
warning.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
I can go over this one if you'd want, Owen.
Yeah, absolutely. And 1 second, I do want to stop here a real second. I just kind of some housekeeping here. The comments, and I'm reading them. We're reading them, and obviously some of the comments is just stupid. I'll just say it that way. I don't have a better word right now. So we're just going to turn the comments off. That way you can argue with yourself. So yeah, just throwing that out there. Be nice. Nobody on this stream gets paid. Nobody actually gets paid at Belpark Weather Network. We're a nonprofit. We do this for free. So yeah, unless you want to pay and start paying us, then we'll, maybe we'll direct stuff towards your town, your town, your town. We have 124 counties, and we're focusing on the areas that are most important at the moment with the severe weather that's active. So sorry if I'm talking a little fast for you. You're just going to have to listen and pay attention. That's just the way it goes sometimes. We got a lot to cover, a lot of territory to cover, and I'm at that point where I'm ready to just turn off the comments on all the streams. So just throwing that out there. I'm not being upset or anything, but hey, just got to keep that in mind here. We read some of those stupid comments, and it just discourages us from what we're trying to do here. So just having comments like that are just stupid are way distracting and just stupid. So don't do it. All right. Hey, Brent, you're up.
Hi. Okay. So we just had a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Warren, Western Fayette County, Northern Clinton County, Southern Greene County, and Southern Montgomery County. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that, again, is tagged tornado possible. And the source is radar indicators. The hazards are 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail, but they also note that a tornado is possible with this. So that's kind of the trend we're seeing today, Ellen. Most of these severe thunderstorm warnings are going to be tagged tornado possible because of how quickly things can change and how quickly tornadoes can spin up. And I will say that northern one, the northernmost warning for Shelby, Preble, Dark, and Miami counties, that one was dropped, has dropped the tornado possible tag. So they're no longer seeing anything concerning on that end for a tornado. But this one that was just issued for Warren, Fayette, Clinton, Greene, and Montgomery, that is tagged tornado possible, and the other two active warnings remain tornado possible. And Owen, they actually just upped the hail size for the storm that is actually in Kentucky, but it does include parts of Hamilton County in Ohio, and that was upped to 1.75-inch hail, so almost 2-inch hail being indicated on radar on that cell. So, definitely all modes of severe weather. We talked earlier about, very severe wind, upwards of 75 miles per hour, sometimes even greater, and 1 to 2-inch hail. And as these storms move into that area that we were questioning, Owen and Mike, it seems that they're not slowing down. The atmosphere is still primed enough to keep these going severe. How does the tornado threat pan out over the next couple hours? Well, we just kind of have to wait and see what happens. But we're going to sit here and watch it very closely. But you know, it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon.
No, absolutely. I think we got, we're continuing to see some of these storms, and why we got a quick pause. We are going to, right now, we're going to end this broadcast, and we're going to take a quick pause. There's some severe thunderstorm warnings, and we're going to come back here very quickly. But we are going to take a quick pause right now, and we will come back here in about 5 minutes or so, and we're going to get some things reset and make sure that everything's rocking and rolling for you. But we do need to take care of a couple things offline. But while we got a quick break, we're going to just end the stream real quick, and then we'll come back live for you, and in just a few minutes. So just stay tuned, and we'll be back here in just